They found and laid out here in America was the same thing that you were trying to do when you were trying to find your voice here in America?
Absolutely. Yeah, Puente had an influence on me as when I was young because he was the guy. I wouldn't say he created the vocabulary of Latin jazz, but he was a main exponent of this, and his arrangements were so rich and so well done. And yeah, I follow him on the timbal a lot in Venezuela, what he was doing. But along with him, there was, the Machito Orchestra,
Yes.
the connection of Dizzy with Chano Pozo. That was the origins of that Latin jazz in New York. But besides that, Brian, besides that movement in the 40s and 50s of Machito, Puente, Faro, Chico Faro, besides that, what caught my attention the most was the movement in the 70s of the first people who started to adapt jazz standards from Miles Davis, Coltrane, Monk, and that was the Fort Apache band, and Hilton Lewis. To me, they were the creators of that movement, purest of the Monk, Miles, Coltrane, put it into Latin jazz rhythms.
You played with the Fort Apache band.
I did a couple of gigs with them, yeah, but Steve was busy, and I did a couple of weeks with the Apache. And, there is a very interesting story about that. I used to follow them a lot to their gigs. And I always was trying, to absorb what they were doing. It's a lot of information on what they were doing. And I always, I had this dream, well, maybe one day I played with Jerry. Jerry was like a mentor to me. And Andy also. They helped me a lot in my first years in New York. And one night I saw an announcement in a magazine, Jerry Gonzalez and the Fort Apache Band special guest Jose Luis Quintana Changuito on timbal, which is a master timbalero, Changuito. I said, wow, I gotta go and see this. I was living in Jersey at that time. It was at the 5 Spot. You remember that place?
Yes.
The 5 Spot. I said, I gotta go. So I called the club, buy my ticket. How much are the ticket? Sold out. Cannot get in, sold out. I said, wow. So I start making calls. Somebody told me, well, the guy who is organizing this they gave me the name, I don't remember. He was the master ceremony. I called him. I said, listen, this I'm Marlon Simon, I'm trying to get here to see this. Say, Marlon is completely full. I cannot get you in. I gave up. I hung up. I said, well, I'm not gonna see those masters tonight. An hour later, I get a call from the same guy who was putting that together. And he said, Marlon, I think I have a way to get you in. We need a drum set. We don't have a drum set. We need a drum set. If you bring your drum set, I get you in. He said, what time you want me there? He said, be here at 7. I cleaned my drum set, polished them. I was there at 6. Changuito's supposed to play drum set. The show was at 8 o'clock. I sit there, I put the drum set, I set it up, and I sit on my first line there just waiting. The club was empty at that moment. And I'm just waiting there, and people start to come. It's 8 o'clock. I see everybody, Changuito, John Stubblefield, Joe Ford. Andy wasn't there. It was Carlitos. Carlitos Enrique was on bass. He was only like 16 years old. Larry Willis was there. But Jerry wasn't there yet. He was late. It was like 8:30, 9 o'clock. And the place is packed. And suddenly I feel somebody knock on my shoulder, pook, 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 and it was Jerry. I say, hey Jerry, what's up, man? He said, you playing drums tonight. Changuito cannot really do the swing. So you playing drums tonight, Changuito. I mean, but wait a minute, what are we gonna play? And he turned around and he went to the dressing room. Man, I started to sweat at that point. Thank God I've been following this band for over a year, and I more or less knew the repertoire. And that was my first gig with Apaches. Unannounced, they told me the same night, no rehearsal, nothing. And there is a videotape of that on
Really?
YouTube. Yes, it was a great night for me, you know. I remember that I walked out of there at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I called my father in Venezuela. Hey, I played with Jerry and Changuito. You know, that was my first gig with them. And then I did like probably 5 or 6 more gigs because that was the chair of Steve. That's how I got in touch with the Apaches.